put it in the ground, you cover it up, and you don't go back and dig it back up
That's
again.
right.
And then all of a sudden, it doesn't look like the same seed that you put in the ground. All of a sudden, you're seeing green. Now you put look like an old dead, seed there.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you see green, and that's and what I thought this was good. What does it do? You call it springing up.
Yeah.
The term, it springs up. Oh, look at my garden. Well, it's springing up. See that kernel there? See that flower, or see that piece of corn, or whatever you planted, that seed? It's sprung up. You don't. That's a farmer's term. Sprung up. My garden's springing up. So spring. I mean, spring to me. I love spring because you're right at it. It's not too hot. We're coming out of the season. Like I say, yes, it brings algae. It brings, like every season. Remember what Ecclesiastes says? There's a season for everything. And I think if Christians could learn what season they're in.
Oh, yes.
When you're in the dead season, like you said, Vicki, hibernate, relax. And then when you're in the spring season, it's like, oh, God, right now I'm in my spring season.
The same beauty is in the fall season. You say now fall.
It is.
What happens in the fall? The leaves fall. It's dying. But turn that to the spiritual. Hey, we died to self.
Yes.
Because now we're going to go dormant, because that's our study period. And then comes spring, all that we've studied, now all of a sudden it's going to come to. I think it's so exciting.
That's good.
All this, because really fall is as nice as spring.
That's right.
Because you're coming out of that hot, and especially here where we live in Florida. I mean, it's like, it's like, I mean, it's just, hot. And then so when fall comes, you can walk. Now you can take your walks outside, and like you say, the trees are changing. There's a crisp in the air that you feel. So all seasons really are good. I mean, I like spring and I like fall, but winter before it can be spring, it has to be winter. Before it can be fall, it has to be summer. So isn't that just like everybody's life?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. Right now, I feel like I'm in the spring season because, okay, I prayed a prayer on a Thursday night. God had me a particular person. It was one of my grandchildren. And it was just had a burden in my heart, and I'm like, oh God, because it's kind of scares you. And I prayed two particular things. And Friday, I have to text her because grandchildren only respond to texts. Children only respond to texts.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know why they have a cell phone. I mean, because they. So hey, and I text her. This is Grandma. Want to talk to you. Well, what I prayed for, she texted me back within 2 hours. And what I prayed for, she was there. I prayed for her to go to a Christian concert. And I didn't even know she even knew about that Christian concert. And then I picked her up the next day to have lunch with her. And she said, Grandma. I said, well, she said, guess what I did? I said, what? She said, I went and gave my life to Jesus Christ.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. And those were two things I had prayed for. And I felt like, oh my gosh, spring has sprung.
Yes.
And then another prayer that I prayed that I didn't think would ever be answered. I mean, I've been praying it for a while, and all of a sudden, it's not completely answered, but there's a communication that is taking place. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Awesome.
So I was riding in the car, and I'm like, spring has sprung, not only outside, but inside.
Hey, turn this to romance.
Okay. That's good.
That's
This is our
Betty's
romance.
forte.
This is our romance person.
But
So what happens? You meet a guy and a girl meet. Casual. What do you call that? What season would you call that?
Spring,
Hasn't sprung yet.
oh, it hasn't sprung yet.
fall, winter. I don't know what season would y'all call that. Okay, a guy and a girl meets and it
Yeah,
hasn't sprung.
and they're attracted to each other. This is not a quiz. This is not a quiz.
Okay, maybe it's winter because their roots are going deeper, getting to know each other.
It's getting to know each other.
So that'd be a winter season. We could
Maybe.
come.
Maybe.
Do you have a better answer? I mean, you're our romance department now.
No, that's good. I like
Okay.
that.
You like
I like
that?
that. Yes.
But see, we can apply it to our lives too, to romance. Death in the family, we can apply that. Because that would then be the fall season. Okay. So, I mean, we can apply this to a lot of I don't know where I'm going with this, but we can apply this to a lot of things as they pop in my head.
Yeah, yeah, and I can
Okay.
see, but I can see that, and like you say, romance. Romance is in the air. Well, the biggest romancer of the whole universe. The
You're
biggest
into
lover,
your season of
Yes.
romance. Come on, let's not hide that.
The biggest lover, the
Yes.
biggest lover of all, is in the spring is Jesus.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Because he came now this time. Okay, what the Bible's the biggest romantic
yeah.
book that's ever been written. You start with a man and a woman, and you end with the bride of Christ. So our biggest lover is Jesus Christ,
Yes.
who set everything aside to come in, because he's our bridegroom, who set everything aside, who died, like you say, went to hell, because he took death away, because he did not want to be away from his bride for eternity. He wanted his bride for all eternity. So he took, like you said, when we went to the thing, he took hell and he took death because he loved us. So he sprung us. He is our spring all year long.
Yes.
He is our spring because he sprang forth from the grave.
Yes.
And in between the man and the woman that he created and the bride, he gave us a beautiful love story in the form of Song of Solomon.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
If we read that book with the spiritual mind,
Yes.
It is.
well, some
Some don't, but I know.
with a spiritual mind, it is so romantic, so beautiful that you just sort of melt away.
I know,
Yes.
and this, but our main lover in the springs
Jesus
is
Christ.
Jesus. So
Yes.
really and truly, when we're His bride and we're all His bride, we have spring all year round, regardless of the seasons outside. Right?
That's right.
Right.
And
Go ahead.
No, and I wanted to say, Marsha, to add to what you were saying, so that in the end, at the us